with some crossover drivers between the Detroit region and the Washington, D.C. sim leagues. A heated rivalry has grown from friendly chirping in the paddocks. And now the DRSCCA and the WDCR put their money where their mouths are, and they aim to take on one another, with each league picking a car and track to serve as the arena for this epic showdown. We start with the SRF at Road America, chosen by the DRSCCA, and then we move to the Formula Ford 1600 at Summit Point. Which region will succeed in this epic clash of titans? The SCCA showdown is next. Our first venue today is Road America, a staple North American road circuits. Road America is an undulating circuit with a mix of long straights, hard braking zones, and several blind corners. Our drivers have quite a bit of rest down the long straights and plenty of places to overtake. The format for today is two laps of qualifying and then 30-minute race. And then we'll reset, practice again, and start over on the next course. Joining me today in the commentary booth is Hayden Sawka, and I'm Alex Laursen. Welcome to Wisconsin as we take on Road America in Elkhart Lake. Hayden, you know many of the drivers in the DRSCCA. What are you looking forward to most about this race today?
I think this race is going to come down a lot to experience. The DRSCCA is very, very familiar with the Spec Racer Ford and with Road America, so I think it'll be really interesting to see how they pair up against the extremely talented drivers of the WDCR. A lot of the drivers in the WDCR, we sent them an interview sheet last week. Almost every single one of them has IRL racing experience, so it'll be really interesting to see how they compare against the drivers who have quite a bit of experience in sim with the SRF and the Road America. And we'll see how they hold up at Summit Point too, with maybe not as much experience in the Formula Ford versus the guys in the WDCR.
Fantastic. I look forward to the race today. I think we're going to have a good...
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like
For some reason, iRacing is not pulling up my stuff. Hang with us, guys, for this quick technical hiccup. Why is it doing? Why if... Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for hanging with us with our technical difficulties there. Gotta love computer stuff. Again, welcome to the DRSCCA versus WDCR. We are now a few laps in. We're 9 minutes into our 30-minute race. Is that what that says? We appreciate you guys hanging in there with us for that brief moment of technical difficulty. It looks like we've got two of the DRSCCA or WDCR drivers leading the way, with our DRSCCA member Ari Reuter in third place, with William Linder in fourth place. We will have to update some of these ticker cards. Hayden, do you want to get on that?
Yes.
We appreciate your patience with the Up here in the front, we've got John Schwartz leading with Colin Denner in second place, Ari Reuter in third, William Linder in fourth, Larry McLeod in fifth place, Thomas Towney in sixth place, Ryan Goff in seventh, Andrew Lunsford in eighth, Trenton McMillan in ninth, and Ahmed Beydoun in 10th place for our top 10.
Yeah, really impressive seeing Ahmed up in the top 10. He's practicing a lot for this, so we'll see if he can hold that position and keep it steady throughout the rest of the race.
Yeah, our top 10 or our top 4 drivers are all within 0.2 of a second of each other. It's wild how close they are. Oh, we had someone off the track there.
Looks like Ari Reuter.
Yeah, let's go take a quick look back at that. So we're back at watching and seeing what happened to Ari here in this corner. Oh, just a little hot into Canada corner there. Now, Hayden, you've driven the SRFs a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about the draft in these cars and how important that is?
Yeah, Road America is a track that has a lot of straights, and these cars are extremely drafty. So I think the strat might be here to just stick in behind a car in front, get that lead pack, and I would not want to be first coming into the last lap because there's a lot of opportunities for cars to get around on the straights.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity. These cars really get sucked up in the draft very well, and so with the 2 long straights here, we definitely get some interesting draft strategies going. Cool. Just so you guys are aware, in our timing ticker over here on the left-hand side, we've got our WDCR region in the white number cards and our DRSCCA region in the blue number cards, so you can follow along and root for your favorite team there. It looks like we've got William Linder and Colin Denner fighting for first place. They are side by side.
Yeah, Will making a good lunge around the outside to try and get position.
Will generally drives the bigger prototype cars, but I've seen him drive these cars fantastically in the past. He's always been up in the top fighting for the leads in the DRSCCA races.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that can put in a lot of work and get good at just about any car.
Yeah, Will honestly, of any of the people that I personally spend time with in iRacing, puts in more practice than most. He's taught me a lot, and he's helped me. I can attribute seconds to Williams' practice and teachings for me.
So Will side by side now with Denner, trying to fight for that lead. But then again, like I said earlier, that draft is really going to play a very important factor, and these 6 cars in the lead pack are probably going to stick together for most of the race.
Yeah, I've not raced with the WDCR before, but I have heard that they are a very quick group, and the way these SRFs race, they are a fantastic pack racing car. And so, yeah, I do imagine, barring any mistakes, that this pack will stay together for most of the race. It looks like everybody here is about equally skilled.
I mean, yeah, even you see there, Will coming from first place, dropping all the way down to thirds in like just a moment. So,
watching the stream of the Miata race the other night, I heard the commentators talking about the Peloton effect in the Miatas, and I would say that's probably a similar idea here in the SRFs, where you're going to see constant rotation because you get such overspeed being in that draft, and so there's no real reason to stay behind.
yeah, the draft laps make it completely different. Because when you're going down the straights, you get so much more speed in qualifying, or even in race. When you're heading down the straights, you have to brake so much earlier just because you have so much extra speed from the draft. And now we see Denner and Schwartz trying to draft each other and keep in the front of the pack. And they'll break off just before Canada corner here. Will getting a little loose.
So a little bit of inside baseball. One of the biggest reasons that this car and track combination was picked was because the DRSCCA really enjoys racing the SRF first off, but we made a large push for the SCCA runoffs in December, and this was the combination for that special event. And so we spent a lot of time as the DRSCCA here on this track in this car combination. So a little insider baseball, that is why this car and track combination was picked by our fearless leader, Michael Schmidt.
You also see many of the DRSCCA cars running the same matching liveries. Obviously, Will up front is not, but Ari Ryder and a lot of the other guys behind him are running the matching liveries that we use for the runoffs.
Hayden, don't be modest.
Now,
you were the one who designed those. You know, they're simple but fantastic.
Thank you. Well, now we see Will talking about that draft earlier. Will went from first place just a few laps ago, now back down to 6th. But making sure he's, ducking down behind Twomey, and he'll really try and get a run here as he makes a move around the outside going into turn 5. Not quite able to make it stick, as that is a hard hairpin, but really good move by Will. He's looking pretty good right now.
And again, we've got almost 19 minutes left of this race, so there's definitely something for survivability in this race, along with being aggressive and making sure your positioning's proper.
Absolutely.
Looks like we may have had a crash towards the back. Let's go check that out. This is Eric Christensen.
Oh, yeah, going into turn 5, car just gets a little bit unsettled, and he sends it for a spin.
That one is so easy to do. I've been there myself so many times.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very difficult corner, but good on him for making sure he makes a good, safe rejoin and waiting for everybody to get by. But now we see the top 8 cars all right in that same pack still. In the draft, there's just constant switching of positions. And That's what we're talking about with the draft. Is it's going to keep that top pack super close, and we might even see packs from behind trying to get up back to that lead pack with the draft, using each other to try and catch back up instead of trying to battle and fight for positions.
Yeah, this course has it all. It's pretty great. You know, you've got the kind of sweeping tight turn 1 into over 90 turn 2. Then you've got turn 5, I believe, because I think the kink in the middle is technically a corner, and then Corvette corner. That complex is definitely one that gets a lot of people out. This course really puts to the test the driver's ability to handle all different types of elevation gain and corners type.
Also really important on this track is the management of the tires, because going around the carousel in a lot of these left-hand corners, you're going to put a lot of pressure and a lot of temperature into that front left tire. So being able to manage the tire temperature and pressure here is going to lead a big factor into this 30-minute race. Fairly long race for these cars. Oh, and here we have a wreck. That looked like Ari Ryder, and is that McLeod? It is.
Larry McLeod received a black flag for that. He will have to go in for a... Let's go take a look at what happened there.
Looks like Ari tried to make a move up the inside. McLeod wasn't having it. I'm not 100% sure what caused the contact there, but definitely unfortunate for both of the cars that were running in that top 8 pack that we were just talking about.
Yeah, Ari is usually one of the top drivers in the DRSCCA, and he particularly likes these cars, but it looks like he's having a rough time. Not to meme on the DRSCCA, but the DRSCCA does regularly set the track temperatures incredibly too high. So let me see if I can pull up that for us.
Well, now we're starting to see some drivers working together up front. So you see Linder and Goff trying to tuck up with each other and catch back up to Schwartz and Denner, who are up front, who have just been drafting together for a long stint of this race now. So because the cars in the back now have been battling, we've seen Schwartz and Denner been able to just kind of pull away subtly, ever so slightly, on this group behind them. And now we see Linder and Goff trying to help each other out down the straights and push each other.
Yeah, these cars are just a simple fiberglass body, but they really do handle the bump draft quite well. As you see, Linder and Goff were there pushing each other. I'm sure everybody's in their Discord on their teams, working with each other, trying to do what's best for everybody.
Definitely. But yeah, look at the gap that Denner and Schwartz are being able to put on these cars behind them. They are just bumping each other all the way down all the straights here at Road America.
Did you notice that we have 24 drivers today? We were wondering what the turnout was going to be today, but 24 is fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And even among these top 10 drivers that we see here, it's a pretty good split, pretty good mix between the DC region and the Detroit region. So
yeah,
we're see it.
Pretty much exactly 50-50 in the top 10. I know there's some crossover. Some of the drivers from the DC region will come and race in our league in Detroit, and some of the Detroit guys go and race in the DC region. And every time I hear the Detroit drivers go over to the DC region to race, they always just have fantastic things to say. Maybe one day I'll get over there and race with those guys too.
Alex, one of those drivers that normally goes back and forth is DJ Alessandrini. And I don't know if you noticed, but he sent a message a little bit ago. He missed race start. So he did not qualify, and he missed the race here. So we might see him again for the Ray upcoming, but he missed the Spec Racer Ford race at Road America.
Oh, man, that's interesting. Yeah, I did not see that. That's unfortunate, because DJ Alessandrini is definitely one of the DC region and iRacing in general's top racers, I would say. Not to glaze him too much.
Very. He is very quick, there's no doubt.
Yeah, we've seen
Schwartz
Gavin
and Denner.
Moore has moved up to 5th place. Gavin Moore, I believe, took one of the podium positions in the SRF.
Oh, look at that.
Gen
Goff
3.
is heading into the pits.
Goff had a black flag, so he must have gotten a meatball somewhere along the lines there.
Interesting. But yeah, now Linder, Moore, and Tommy are all going to have to work together to get back up to that lead group of Schwartz and Denner, who are just still putting a gap, now 2 seconds to the car in third.
Yeah, Schwartz and Denner clearly have driven together many times. They look like they've got this strategy dialed down to a science. It's very entertaining to watch.
DJ, good to see you in the chat. He says he feels glazed. We'll knock it off now, don't worry. We hope to see you in the Formula 4 upcoming race, DJ.
Yeah, it's always a good time when DJ hops over to the DRSCCA league and gives us a run for our money. Lincoln Olsen, who is one of our racers, who's back at the back of the pack, looks like he maybe has stepped out of the race. Lincoln Olsen is usually one of the ones that puts up the fight with DJ Alessandrini. See, it looks like this is a little farther back in the pack, fighting for 9th and 10th place. We have Jonathan Crane and Trent McMillan. They're fighting close, and Ari's catching up to them. Ari's such a quick driver.
Yeah, he was setting some pretty quick quali times, practice times last night and not today, so curious to see if he'll be able to catch back up to one of those lead packs and maybe get himself back in the race here.
How about we go on board for a second, just enjoy the ride for a half a lap or so.
And now on board with John Schwartz, we see how they're just lifting before the corner, making sure they don't run into each other under braking, and then he's going to try and get on the throttle early and catch right back up and push Colin Denner. So now through turn 3 and the kink here, turn 4, they're going to come down to turn 5, the Moraine sweep, make that hard left-hand hairpin. Ooh, and instead of pushing, John's actually going for a pass here on Colin.
You know, I think he had just a little bit of overspeed there and didn't want to damage either of their cars. Because as we see, I think that's what probably happened to Ryan Goff earlier, which is why he ended up in the pits.
Very possible, but this fighting could mean that we'll bring that lead, or that group behind them back into it, unless they decide to tuck back in with one another and draft, which it looks like they might be doing now here again.
Yeah, we still have 9 minutes left in this race, and you know William Linder is about 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds behind P2. So we could definitely see it come back together, especially because it looks like this triple is working really well together and helping each other bring the race back together.
Yeah, but as we said just a lap or two ago, that gap was 2.1 seconds. Now down another 1.3, 3.4 second gap up to the lead pack.
Yeah, it's no task, no small task for this triplet to overcome to make it back up to the front. If you want to see what it looks like from the bump draft position, this is what these cars are seeing when they're right behind each other.
Yeah, this will be coming out of turn 14 onto the front straight to the start-finish line, the Road America straight. We see William Lindner in front, Gavin Moore, the car that we were viewing from. We'll see Gavin tuck up right as close as he can to Will and get the push. And there it is, the little bumps that are just going to send them flying by into P3 and P4. And now we see Gavin Moore trying to inch his way up the inside and make a move. Just not going to be able to cut it, not going to have enough pace on Will.
Now let's take a look back up at the front and watch these guys as they work together to keep this triplet away from them behind.
Yep, now through the turn 4, the kink, down Moraine sweep, back to that turn 5 hairpin that we just mentioned earlier. And yeah, it looks like Colin and John are both just tucked back into each other and they're just pushing, trying to put as much of a gap down as possible.
Yeah, let's go take a check back in with Ari. He's back up to 10th place after his unfortunate fumble there. Oop, little slip there. That corner is easy to get you. That corner is such a tricky corner to navigate because it's so tight and, you know, you're braking on that quick downhill and there's just the desire to wait longer, but the longer you wait, the more you're on the downhill. And so there's a balance of finding that crest of that hill on where to brake and being able to be faster there.
Yeah, and also when you're going to braking, you're going to the right side and you're trying to use up as much of the track as possible by straddling that right-hand curb. And then when you turn in, you know, the exit seems wide open, but when you get to that point, the grass comes and cuts you off, and that's a very easy off-track to take if you're not, you know, being super careful. Now we see Will, Gavin, you know, that fight for 3, 4, 5 still going on. It's just going to allow the leaders to just pull further. Now 5 seconds.
You know, I wonder, okay, we're going to go with some bike racing strategy here because we brought that up earlier. In a situation like this, Twomey doesn't have any responsibility to bring this pack back up to the front because their teammates are already winning. So their job is actually to slow down the triplet. And I don't know if they're doing that. And they're getting a little argy-bargy here on the front straight, but, you know, maybe Twomey is not necessarily driving as cooperatively with the other two to intentionally help that gap grow. That's definitely a tactic. That's definitely a tactic you would see in cycling.
Yeah. I think it's also gotten to the point now with that 6-second gap, and it's just growing, that it's gotten to the point where it's almost unrecoverable. Only 5 minutes left, so now it's starting to get more, a little more scary for these drivers. They start actually fighting for positions that are going to matter because this race is slowly coming to a close. Less than 5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, with the lap times being 2.5 minutes, we're I would assume we'll see the white flag on the next lap through.
Yeah, it'll definitely be close. Doesn't this scene look familiar, Alex? John and Colin, Schwartz and Denner, right on the bumper of each other, following each other down the whole track. No passing intentions. Just drafting, pushing each other away from that group behind as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for the glory, there's no reason to go for the glory until the white flag lap. You've got such a long lap to make it through, and, you know, right now you've essentially secured a win for your region as the WDCR here. But do you go for the glory? Do you try to win the whole race yourself?
Which is very possible to do out of turn 14 back onto the front straight. All you need is a good run out of turn 14, and if you get a little bit of draft from the car in front, that car behind could easily pass on the front straight.
You know, I was watching the Creator Series that iRacing does the other day, and it was IndyCars, GT3s, and GR86s were the three classes that they were racing. The GR86 class was literally a 3-car drag race to the finish line out of the last corner with less than 100th of a second separating the 3 different cars.
Yeah, I can see it being pretty close here too with these 2 cars in front, and even the pack behind, Twomey, Lindner, and Moore, all still battling now for that 3rd place position.
Yeah, we've got a strong battle here for third, 4th, and 5th. We've got a great battle for 1st and 2nd. The SRFs they just produce great racing, in my opinion.
The draft really keeps everything close for the most part. You get these packs of cars that form up, and if you're not in a pack, you find it really difficult to keep up with the pace, even if the cars are battling in front.
So I'm gonna bring us back to Michael Schmidt for a second, because Michael Schmidt is the de facto fearless leader of the DRSCCA Sim League and one of the main catalysts in putting this event together. We really appreciate Michael Schmidt, for all the work he does in the DRSCCA League and clearly the networking he does outside of the DRSCCA League. To put this event together, and then racing his favorite car at his favorite track, or at least the car that he feels like he's the best in. P12, that's going to be a great finish for Michael Schmidt.
Yeah, and actually, it's still good to see a pretty good mix among that, top 12 until we see Schmidt. There's a good mix of a lot of different cars from the different regions, so that's really encouraging to see.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Alex, I think it is worth mentioning. I think that was a little bit of glazing for Schmidt. I'm not gonna lie.
I
think the glaze has come back a little bit.
Schmidt deserves the glaze. We give Schmidt so much in the Discord. We give him so much crap. But I think really
it's pretty awesome.
Every now and then Schmidt deserves some glaze because he does great things for the DRSCCA.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's some deserved glaze, we'll call it. We see Colin making a move on John. And Denner takes the lead momentarily here. Still got a little bit of side draft. We'll see what happens going down into turn 1. Yeah,
we did get the white
momentarily.
We did get the white flag on this lap, so this is our final lap of the race.
Let's see if Schwartz is going to try and make a move back again on Denner. Obviously, it's not going to come now on this straight. If I were him, I'm going to wait a little bit further on into the lap here. It's a little too early, and you're just going to give that draft back to Denner.
Yeah, the final lap in these cars with this strong of a draft is definitely where you really have to play those games of do I want to be leading going into the final corner? Because having that draft up that final straight is a strong advantage to give you that overspeed coming to the line.
Yeah, and this is where that battle for third is really going to get spicy, because all 3 of those cars now may just trying to stick together earlier, maybe try and just push a little bit further towards the leaders, but now that battle for third is really going to get spicy as all 3 of them are pushing for that podium position. So now for one final time, we got Denner and Schwartz through the carousel. This time, Schwartz following Denner instead of the other way around. So we'll see what happens on this straight here as the cars get to open up through the kink towards Canada corner.
Looks like we've got some Colin fans in the chat with us today. We appreciate everyone coming out and watching the ASN network, the Automotive Sports Network, your home for sim racing content here on the internets. We are in a quest to hit 1,000 subscribers, and it would be fantastic if any of you guys watching would hit that subscribe button. We have 22 watching. We have 975 subscribers at the moment. If everybody watching hits that subscribe button, there's a strong chance we'll be able to get over 1,000 viewers by the end of this event.
Here we go. Schwartz trying to make a move on Denner now, side by side towards the finish line. And it looks like Schwartz has gotten ahead. Will he hold it? He will. Schwartz will win the race over Denner, it looks like. And that's what I'm talking about, that final straight. Now if we can get back to that battle for third and see how those cars are coming along. Looks like Lindner held it over Gavin Moore and Twomey. Ryan Carwile finishing 6th. Ahmed Beydoun crossing the line, finishing 7th.
So yeah, we've got John Schwartz in P1, Colin Denner P2, William Linder P3, Gavin Moore P4, Thomas Twomey P5, Ryan Carwile P6, Ahmed Beydoun P7, Andrew Lunsberg P8, Jonathan Crane P9, Ari Reuter P10, Larry McLeod P11, and Michael Schmidt P12 to round out the top half of our race. That was a fantastic race there, Hayden. That was
a lot of drafting. That was fun to watch.
It was a lot of drafting, a lot of tactics there. It was great to see the finish of that. Eat, Sleep, Sim, Repeat, Vero Beach. I'm pretty sure that's Dave O'Coon said, let's continue the glazing and give it up for Alex and Hayden in the broadcasting booth. Yeah, so again, I'm Alex Laursen. This is Hayden Sawka. We're here today from the chilly state of Michigan, showing off this wonderful racing here between the DRSCCA and the WDCR. Again, this is an event put on by dreamed up by Schmidt, and it's just a great place to be. Let's see if we're gonna get anybody in here. We've got Alex Delatorre looking for an interview, so we're gonna pull him up here in a second, and we'll get him going and letting us know some about the Detroit Region SCCA. Hello. Give me just 1 moment to get the audio in the right spot. Cool. Alex, welcome to the commentary booth. Are you able to hear me?
I am.
Cool, perfect. Let me make sure you're up in the... How'd you enjoy the race? How was that for you, watching that?
Well, being from the Detroit region, of course, I'm very happy that we got at least the 3rd spot on the podium. The gentleman over from the DC region did a fantastic job. Lots of strategy, like you and Hayden pointed out, going on there. And I'll tell you what, I'm psyched to see the Summit Point race here in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's this track is one that we race a lot here in the DRSCCA and the Sim League, and it was great to see a decent showing from some of our folks here. I heard you're building a sim rig there, Alex.
Oh, it's up and it's down. I think everybody sim races for different reasons. I use the sim rig when I go to a new track, and I really need to learn the lefts, the rights, the ups and downs, and all that stuff. It's a good way to show that even an old dog, I hate to call out Mr. Dave Grodzinski, like myself, can still get out there and sim race. So if I may do a little public service announcement here. So first of all, as you guys called out, great job, Michael Schmidt, for reaching out to the DC region, and inversely for the DC region agreeing to race together with us today. Both the Detroit and the DC region, we're big regions, we're jumbo regions. We've got some pretty amazing programs: autocross, rallycross, road rally, road racing, and sim racing. Coincidentally, we've both been around since 1948, so that's great. I know we're not sister cities or anything like that, but this is great to show the rest of the regions that you can collaborate, and that's one way to grow exponentially on track and off track as well. So thank you, DC. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Alex and Hayden, for helping put this together. Also wanted to give a shout out to our Michigan turn marshals. I know the DC region also has a strong set of volunteers. A good portion of ours are down at the Rolex 24 as we speak. But as everybody knows, nobody road races in the United States without those great volunteers.
Can I
and
interject
white
real quick?
Flags. Yeah, go for it.
I started volunteering with the Michigan Flag Marshals last year, and let me tell you, that is just one of the most fantastic ways to get involved in car racing at a budget level. You don't have to have any money. You just show up, and they're like, here's a flag. We're going to teach you everything you need to know. You'll never get a better seat at a race. You'll never pay less to go to a race. It is so much fun, and it's a great way to be involved in motorsport, especially for those of us that are budget conscious that can't always really feel like we can get out on the track in our own cars.
Absolutely, great. Glad to feel that you experienced that all day long. We need those folks out there just as much as we need every other volunteer that we've got. So, yeah, for those of you that think that road racing isn't something you can be doing, start with a flag in your hands. Come into the paddock, crew, and there's plenty of teams that'll also help you get behind the wheel at a certain point. And as everybody that's been watching sim racing has learned, this is the next affordable way to get behind the wheel, drive some iconic tracks across the country. I'd like to give some kudos to our sponsors, at least on the Detroit region side. First of all, SuperLap, which is a simulator studio here in Metro Detroit. Somebody doesn't have a sim at home, they can go in there and try before they buy. They help us run a series on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Check out superlap.world. In addition, for those of you autocrossers, rallycrossers, road racers, also check out Redford Sign Works. Mr. Michael Schmidt put together a pretty amazing sign company. He's putting together vinyl, race car stickers, magnetic stickers as well. Again, Redford Sign Works, one of our sponsors. And last but not least, AG Racing. It's a rental company, a race car rental company here in Metro Detroit as well. 5 spec racers, 5 spec Miatas. Again, try before you buy. You can get behind the wheel for as cheap as a couple $1,000s for a weekend. And you can also work some of that time off if you come out and crew or work in the garage. So where there's a will, there's a way. Road racing.
Sorry, Alex, I cut you off there for a moment.
It's all good. I'm all good. I just wanted to make sure I said thank you to everybody, our sponsors, you guys behind the mic, both of the regions. And again, I'm very much looking forward to watching this Summit Point race. Not sure if you guys got any of the podium folks you're going to interview. And what time does the next race begin?
We have 30 minutes of practice, and then we'll go into a 2-lap hot lap qualifying. So we're gonna see if there's anybody else that wants to come into the interview booth to give maybe someone over at the WDCR region wants to shout out over there, and then from there we'll run a few ads, and then we'll be back with a few minutes left before qualifying starts. And again,
great.
Alex, I want to thank you so much for all of the recognition that you give to sim racing in the Detroit region. It's fantastic. It warms my heart. I love sim racing so much, and I love the community that I've found here. And the fact that we have support from the Detroit region SCCA just makes it feel so much more in touch with real life racing.
I'll pipe in too, and I'll say I would not be here without sim racing. This for me is super important to see. I'm really excited to be sim racing. I'm a guy who has never raced in real life, and I've made a great connection and great community with the guys in the DRSCCA and sim racing. So it's really exciting and really fun to be able to do this kind of stuff. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, DRSCCA.
You guys are welcome. And again, for anybody that's out there listening, make sure you go check out your local track. Quick shout out to Waterford Hills out here in Clarkston, Michigan. Been around since 1958. Again, you can do it behind the sim, but you'd be surprised what you can do at your local track as well. Don't be shy. Show up, do an open track day, go watch one of the races, whatever it may be. Part of our job within both regions is to help everybody get behind the wheel. There was a time in my life when I thought I'd never race a car, and just little by little, people taught me the ropes. And sim racing is part of motorsports, so we are here to bridge the gap between sim racing and real world getting behind the wheel in both directions as well. So thank you again, both of you.
No problem. And here at ASN, Automotive Sports Network, we love to support events like this. We also help host the NASA, which isn't related to real life NASA, Rallycross League, and we also produce for SimCar League on Thursday nights. Well, Hayden, that was a fantastic first race of this event. You know, I'm not necessarily going to call the whole event a full success just yet, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be a pretty successful event. That first race was enjoyable. We had a good mix of talent on both the DRSCCA and the WCR side. You know, really going head-to-head with each other. Do you have any thoughts on that first race before we kick it to some ads real quick?
Yeah, it was super encouraging to see. I think the race went really well. We had a good mix of drivers in that top 10 group. And it was cool to see some guys work together even and try and, get back up to the lead packs and move their way back up into some contention. So really good race to watch. Very exciting to see a very different style of racing with the Formula Fords coming up at Summit Point. Not so much draft, a little more technical track, a lot more slow speed corners. So really excited to see what's coming up here at Summit Point.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this race at Summit Point. It always provides for some good fun. So we're going to throw it to some ads, and we'll be back in a little bit just to start off our qualifying here. We'll see you in a moment.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous with your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race, takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds it.
Side between these two and turn one. This is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap clock at the inside line. McLaughlin contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. In the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Rackster acing the entry to turn one, up heading to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. The grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Magnus will hold his power.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race, takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds
Side by
it.
side between these two in turn one. This is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap clock at the inside line. McFarland contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. From the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one, up heading to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. The grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like he's going to hold his spot.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race. Takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds
By
it.
side between these two in the turn one, this is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap clock at the inside line. McFarland contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. From the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one, up heading to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. The grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Wetz will hold his power.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SCCA Showdown. If you like what you see here on the Automotive Sports Network, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, no matter the platform, at ASN TV USA. Of according to Brian, we might even be on the dark web. Ring the bell to catch our live streams every week. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 900 and what, Alex? So close, 970 some. So we welcome you back here. Our second venue for today in the SCCA Showdown is Summit Point Raceway. This circuit is a very bumpy one, which will prove tricky for the drivers, especially in the middle sector. One wrong move you can end up in a barrier and out of the race. Respect the curbs and your throttle pedal as you navigate this circuit. As a reminder, the format for our event today is as follows. We're currently finishing up an open practice, and the drivers will be starting qualifying momentarily. They'll have 2 laps to determine the grid for this 30-minute race that follows. The SCCA Divisional Showdown continues live on the Automotive Sports Network. With Alex Laursen next to me in the commentary box, my name is Hayden Sawka. We welcome you back to Summit Point, West Virginia. So, Alex, coming up with this second race now in the Formula Ford, what do you think this is going to be? How do you think this will be different from the Spec Racer Fords we just watched at Road America? And how do you think the DRSCCA will stack up in a more maybe unfamiliar car and track combination?
Well, looking at the timing tower already, we've got 3 of the top 5, although DJ Alessandrini in first place is a solid 4/10 ahead of the closest person to him, with Larry McLeod coming in at 115,466. So we've got some work to do on the DRSCCA side, but we have raced these cars before, and I know a lot of the drivers in Detroit are pretty familiar with this track. So I think it's going to be a good battle between the DRSCCA and the WDCR boys in this Formula Ford 1600.
Yeah, definitely interesting to look at the timing. For those of you unaware, in chat, there's a pinned message that you can check out the timing on your own, the live timing for this event. But yeah, DJ Alessandrini joining now for this race, a full 4/10 ahead of P2 and 7/10 ahead of Sean Fritz and P3. And then the times start to get a lot closer. Sean Fritz with a 1:15.755, Ari Reuter with a 1:15.804, and Gavin Moore with a 1:15.859. The times are just so much closer now in this practice session as we move down the list. So definitely going to be important. Make sure you can put a lap down in qualifying, but we'll catch you back here on the Automotive Sports Network in just a moment when qualifying is underway.
Here we go with the start of our qualifying event. Let's see who gets out on the track first.
It's worth noting these first few laps are going to be pretty important, with track temp sitting at an icy 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius. So if these drivers can make their laps and get them done early, that'll be extremely helpful to them coming up through qualifying. So
here we are.
DJ Alessandrini set the fastest lap in practice. Will he be able to hold up in qualifying, Alex, do you think? I mean, obviously, he might be a little cold coming off not driving in the SRF race, but that might have done him a little bit of an advantage, as the other drivers might be a little tired.
Yeah, they might be a little tired, and also these two cars drive very differently, right? Like, the SRF, not a ton of downforce, but it does have downforce, whereas these Formula 1600s just, they don't really have any to speak of. These are all mechanical grip, and they're just a fun, lively car to drive. They do drive a little similar to the SRF, but still have enough differences that, you know, if you got really dialed into the SRF, you might have a difficulty adjusting over to the Formula Ford 1600.
Definitely. It's also going to be very different as there's no door banging in these cars. Door banging in these cars leads to wheel damage, and wheel damage leads to not fast. So now we come up. Andrew Lunsford looks like he's going to be setting the first of the laps here, and the rest come pouring in. So we'll see what the timing updates here in a sec, but the laps are starting to fall upon us.
And just remember, these are all just their out laps here. So now we're actually on our first flying lap where we're going to set our times.
Yep, warming up the tires, make sure the car is in good condition to set that flying lap.
See, Gavin Moore has a really fast predicted time on my timing screen. It's saying a 1:13.4 is what he's looking at. So we'll see if Gavin Moore is able to keep up that pace throughout the whole lap.
That would be blazing fast.
Ryan Goff didn't have the best times in warm-ups, but I do know that Ryan Goff loves this car, and this is a car that he's spent a lot of time racing. I'm interested to see where he's going to end up here in this qualifying session as well.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of the guys in the DRSCCA are really looking forward to this day because it's more of a fun, laid-back race. There's not really any standings. Of course there are between the DC and the Detroit regions, but it's a very laid-back race and a very easy race to just get comfortable and enjoy racing. So there we go. Andrew Lunsford with the first lap on the board, a 1:16.427. Other laps falling in behind, Lincoln Olsen, a 1:16.558. Ari Ryder with a 1:16.580. Larry McLeod, Frank Alessi, Ahmed Beydoun, Michael Schmidt all posting laps. But there we go. Sean Fritz posting the second best lap here with a 1:16.546. And Thomas Twomey, a 1:16.309, the fastest in the session.
Yeah, Thomas Twomey fighting for P3 in that last race, so it looks like he's also going to be giving a fight to the rest of the field here in the Formula Ford 1600.
Yep, for those of you that remember, it was Twomey, Lindner, and Moore all battling for that P3. Gavin Moore, speaking of P3, is now in that position, 1:16.430. And one of the faster drivers for the DRSCCA, Lincoln Olsen, settling down in P5. Not the greatest of first laps, a 1:16.558. I would expect better from him in the next coming laps, as long as he can keep it clean. We got one more lap to go here in qualifying for most of these drivers. Interesting to see DJ Alessandrini doesn't look to be out on track yet, so maybe just waiting a little bit, trying to set some later quali times. There's definitely time left in the session, almost 6 minutes still remaining, so there you go, Andrew Lunsford and Lincoln Olsen now up to the top with a 1:16.066. Andrew Lunsford so close behind with a 1:16.083.
Yeah,
only 2/100ths of a second behind Lincoln.
That is a wild close gap there. Let's see who we've got finishing up on our second lap. Let's go to Ryan Carwile. He's about to cross the line for his second lap.
And now DJ Alessandrini is on track on his outlap. So just waiting a little bit. Doesn't need to set that quality time as soon. I mean, you only get 2 laps in this session anyway, so with the full 10 minutes of time, definitely not needed to take up, get out on track immediately. So
Ryan Goff going P7.
Yeah, with his lap, a 1:16.349 into P7. Your leaderboard as it stands right now, Lincoln Olsen, Andrew Lunsford, Sean Fritz, Larry McLeod, Trenton McMillan in your top 5. Like we said, DJ looming in the background, setting his quality laps right now.
We've got 3 drivers still out on track with the ability to qualify. Maybe 2 now. John Schwartz and DJ Alessandrini. Let's go on board and watch some of DJ Alessandrini's lines through this track here.
So DJ now down the front stretch into the hard braking zone of turn 1. It's a really long right-hander that leads into technically turn 2 right here. Coming up to turn 3 now is a faster left-hander that you got to avoid the gravel trap if you go wide. Just a light dab of the brakes here into turn 3. And there's that dangerous looming gravel trap. DJ making his way now down to turn 4 and the slowest section of this track. Turns 4 through 8 section here.
This is such a technical little section. It's so unassuming. It doesn't look like it's that hard, but it's really easy just to step on the gas just a hair too quick or have a misshift in there and really throw off your flow.
Absolutely. So now coming through turn 8, that was the bumpiest portion of the track, which also can throw that car for a loop. But now through turn 9, coming up to turn 10, the final corner back onto the front straight towards that start-finish line.
This corner here is all about commitment. You want to just barely slow down so you can get that car rotated around that corner, but then it's all throttle from there on out.
So DJ now setting his lap. And there he goes, right up to the top of the 1:15.714.
Yep, 3/10 in front of Lincoln Olsen in P2. We've got...
It's also worth mentioning, John Schwartz just set his lap at 1:16.205. That puts him in P4 behind DJ, Lincoln, and Andrew Lunsford.
What do you think is going to be the storyline of this race, Hayden?
I think it's going to be the wheel-to-wheel contact. I think it's really easy for these cars to get damaged. I know from experience, so you got to keep the wheel-to-wheel contact to a minimum, and it's going to be really tight racing. This track, it's very tight. You put the bigger cars on this track sometimes, and it's very difficult to find passing opportunities aside from turn 1. So the straight going down to turn 1, the exit from turn 10, all the way through that straight is going to be vital to the speed and vital to getting by somebody in front. These cars are not as drafty, like we said, like the Spec Racer Ford. They're very small, low-profile cars, so the draft is very, very little.
With this predicted lap time, it looks like he's going to come in a lot faster than that first lap, so we'll see when the timing board resets here.
Yep, there it is, a 15.534, and John Schwartz actually just finished his second lap. He moved up to second place, a 1:16 flat. So, as qualifying is now slowly wrapping up, only one driver, maybe two, still out on track. Minute 15 remaining in qualifying, but so far your leaderboard: DJ Alessandrini in first place, John Schwartz in P2, Lincoln Olsen P3, Andrew Lunsford in 4th, Sean Fritz in 5th, Larry McLeod in 6th, Trent McMillan in 7th, Thomas Twomey in 8th, Ryan Goff in 9th, and Ari Ryder in 10th.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup here for the top 10, and I'm excited for this race. It's going to be a fun one to watch. That is for sure.
Absolutely. I know we were talking a little bit about Lincoln Olsen last race and how he had an unfortunate start and started a little bit further back in the pack. But yeah, he's definitely one of those guys who should be fighting for the top spots. Him and DJ, when they race together in the DRSCCA, are always up towards the top, always battling. So I think it'll be really interesting to see the battle between DJ, John, and Lincoln all up at the front. But then you got Andrew Lunsford in the mix too. It's worth noting P2, 3, 4, John Schwartz, Lincoln Olsen, Andrew Lunsford, all set 16 flats. They were all within 8/100ths of a second.
That's a wild statistic.
Be a really close battle for this front, for that P2, P1 position. It's going to be a really, really tight battle between those drivers.
Yeah. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here on ASN TV USA. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Let's see if we can get over that 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of this broadcast. That would make us really happy here at the ASN. We really enjoy broadcasting these events, especially these special events, and with the DRSCCA and WDCR. Feel free to follow us on socials everywhere, but giving us a like and a subscribe here on YouTube would be fantastic.
Absolutely. We appreciate all you coming out to watch today for this awesome battle that's been so far between the DRSCCA and the WDCR. Now we see drivers starting to hop on grid here. Like we said, DJ Alessandrini, John Schwartz, Lincoln Olsen, Andrew Lunsford, and Sean Fritz, your top 5. And oh, look at the pace car for this race. We got the Silverado pickup. Love to see it with the little tiny Formula Fords behind.
You know, whenever I see that big pickup truck in front of these small cars, it always reminds me or makes me think of, you know, if you ever go to like the fairs and stuff, and there's like the tractor pulling just a bunch of little like train cars behind it. That's what the giant truck in front of these guys always remind me.
It is a reminder of how small these cars are, and same thing with the Spec Racer Ford. They are a lot smaller than you would think. So seeing them in person, you feel like a giant standing one next to these cars.
Yeah, these are definitely not go-karts, but they're not far from a go-kart.
Yeah.
You know, very simple mechanically. They're relatively easy to get into racing in real life. The Spec Racer Ford, especially. We have a large showing here in the Detroit region at Waterford Hills Raceway with our Spec Racer Ford series.
Yeah, that's definitely that, and the Spec Miata at Waterford Hills are two of the biggest classes that race at Waterford. Well, here we go. Pace car is on its way. DJ Alessandrini leading the way. Now you see all those drivers trying to warm their tires as they make their way around the pace lap. So
yeah, especially because we're only on the short pace lap here. So we got the final turn. The pace truck's already off the side of this truck. Oh, and it looks like John Schwartz may have missed the grid.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like he's still in the pits. So here we go. DJ Alessandrini in first.
And the green flag is flown.
So DJ with a good jump off the line. Right behind him, Lincoln Olsen. Going to be looking to make a mover on the outside into turn one. Lincoln. And he'll fall in behind DJ.
Yeah, it's definitely these cars are a little more fragile than the SRF, so you wanna be careful there while you're wheel to wheel with each other. And
Lincoln making a move there. He's going to push DJ just a little bit off track, but DJ's able to hold it together through the gravel. Lincoln now into P1. Andrew Lunsford in P2. And who is that went wide? That's Andrew Lunsford that went wide there. So Lincoln Olsen into P1, DJ Alessandrini in P2, Larry McLeod P3 as they make their way through turn 8-9 towards the straight, towards turn 10.
Yeah, we've got Ryan Goff in P4, Gavin Moore in P5 to round out our top five. Again, we've got a good mix of DRSCCA and WDCR in the top five.
Yeah, and we look here, we do see the draft definitely making its move here. DJ Alessandrini forced to the outside by Lincoln Olsen. Olsen will take the inside line. He'll dive towards the apex early. Alessandrini trying to hang it around the outside. Not quite enough room with Lincoln moving back out. And Lincoln's going to hold on to P1 for now. DJ right on his tail, followed by Larry McLeod and Ryan Goff. Also in that top group of four. DJ making a move to the inside. Lincoln trying to hang it around the outside. He will. The touch of the gravel there for Lincoln.
You know, that corner gets really interesting throughout the race as people are definitely touching the gravel almost every lap, and so that corner just gets slicker and slicker every time you go through it.
And there goes DJ again, looking for a move up the inside, but Lincoln will have the inside on the next corner. And it looks like he's just hanging around side by side still through turn 8 and turn 9, and now Lincoln is able to bring it back out in front.
Looks like we might have had a crash from John Schwartz.
Yeah, it looks like there was a car. Yeah, there's a car off the side of the track there on turn 8.
Yeah,
we saw him go off earlier in lap 1, and it looks like he just stuck there. It's definitely going to be interesting to look at.
Yeah, I'm working on queuing up the replay
Definitely.
right
Thank
now.
you, Alex. But now we see Lincoln Olsen on the inside. DJ Alessandrini trying to make a move around the outside, just like the lap before. And Lincoln making that same dive toward the apex early. DJ now well alongside Lincoln. But Lincoln with that inside line and a car right on his tail. That's Ryan Goff. DJ still now alongside. He's got his nose ahead of Lincoln, and he's going to make the move and get the move done on Lincoln up the inside of turn number 3.
Ryan Goff also uses that momentum to sneak past Lincoln.
Yeah. So now your top 5, DJ Alessandrini, Ryan Goff, Lincoln Olsen, Larry McLeod and Ryan Carwile, as we have Thomas Twomey, who just dropped back. On board now with Lincoln Olsen following Ryan Goff through turns 8 and 9.
Okay, knowing the DRSCCA and the rivalry that Goff and Olsen have, do you think they're going to play like teammates right here? Do you think they're going to try to squeak this one out for the DRSCCA, or are they going to be battling like they do almost every week in the DRSCCA Weekly League?
Knowing those two, it's going to be a battle, but at the same time, they're also battling DJ, which might be able to keep them both hanging up there for that P1 spot. I think the fact that they're able to still stick with DJ and battle with him, keep them in the running for that P1 spot. And there you go, you see Ryan Goff making a late move up the inside on DJ, who didn't get a great run out of turn 1. So now Ryan Goff is your leader, Lincoln Olsen in second, but DJ still hanging around the inside of Lincoln as they are really close wheel to wheel around turn 3. Ryan Goff sends it wide into the gravel. That's going to slow him up a little bit and give DJ the run up the inside towards turn 4. So DJ takes it back again from Ryan Goff. The leaders are flipping all over the place. This is good racing to watch.
Yeah, McLeod in there too, mixing it up with Lincoln. This is a great top 4, and with them fighting as much as they are, it's allowing Ryder and Carwile to stay close.
Yeah, it's actually quite the opposite of what we saw in Road America, where now we see a lot of the DRSCCA drivers in that top 6. 4 of our 6 top drivers are DRSCCA drivers, and then you see Lunsford, Alessi, and Crane down 7, 8, 9 that start rounding it out for the DC region. But yeah, it's a little bit of the opposite of what we thought, as the DRSCCA drivers are doing a really good job hanging with the guys from the DC region. Now we see Ryan Goff making a move up the inside, and he's got it before the end of the straight on DJ. And Lincoln very late on the brakes there. He's going to be able to hold it together. But Ryan Goff, DJ Alessandrini, side by side now again through turns 1 and 2. But again, Goff able to hang on to the lead there for the moment. Lincoln Olsen, Larry McLeod side by side through turn 3. Battling up here in this top 6, top 4, top 6 has been amazing so far, and most of the driving has been fairly clean so far.
Yeah, let's go look back a little bit farther. We've got Sean Fritz and Gavin Moore fighting it out for the top 10 spot there. And Mike Schmidt back here battling with Dave Grudzinski.
Yeah. Schmidt making a big move around the outside on Dave, and Dave's going to give it up for him. I wonder if Mike had an issue early in the race that put him back that far.
Let me see if there's something going on.
And Ahmed Beydoun as well, who seemed to do pretty all right in qualifying, is now P19 as well. So
it looks like Mike Schmidt had an off track in lap 3, but I don't know if it was anything too major.
Well, we were talking before about Ryder and Carwile trying to make their way back up. Ari Ryder just set the fastest lap of the session with a 1:15.8. So Ari and Ryan are definitely trying to make their way back up into that top 4 group that's battling as DJ takes it back again from Ryan Goff. Now Lincoln and Ryan back right next to each other where they love to be to battle. So
yeah, it seems really difficult for these cars to actually create a gap and pull away from one another. You know, whether that be the track temperatures or just this car in general. It's difficult for someone out front to actually get a gap and make it stick.
Absolutely. DJ now starting to put a tiny bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second on Ryan Goff. But obviously that means almost nothing with the length of this race here. We still have 22.5 minutes left, so as you see there, the track status is dry, but that track temp 81, so not incredibly warm yet. We've seen temperatures upwards of 120, 130 degrees in the past, so still fairly grippy. I think in qualifying we were sitting around 76 degrees, so not too bad here as far as track temp. DJ Alessandrini now takes the fastest lap away from Ari Ryder, 1:15.631.
Ari Ryder and Ryan Carwile have caught back up with that pack, although Ryan Goff and Alessandrini are on the attack, getting out of there.
Yeah, they're starting to put a little bit of a gap as we see, who is that? Ari Ryder that went wide.
Yeah, that's a really easy corner to go wide on, especially when you're wheel to wheel with somebody else. You don't always want to chance it trying to force yourself on the road. These cars are a little bit fragile, as we've seen a couple black flags for meatballs here in the session.
Yeah, so now we see DJ, where he likes to be out in front, trying to put as much of a gap as possible as he can on Ryan Goff and the rest of the group behind. Olsen, McLeod, Carwile, Ryder, all trying to catch back up to that lead group and see if they can make something happen to fight for a podium. But yeah, Goff and DJ are just really trying to stretch their wings here and get as far away from the rest of the group as possible.
We know you have other options to watch here on this wonderful Saturday. The Daytona 24 Hours is live at the moment, and we appreciate that you choose to be here with us on ASN watching the DRSCCA duke it out with the WDCR.
Absolutely. Huge thank you to everyone watching. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our generous sponsors for allowing this event to go on. As we see Goff and DJ Alessandrini still battling it out for P1, and the cars behind all trying to duke it out for P3, so...
Yeah, we've got...
something must have happened to Lincoln Olsen as he dropped back to 10th. I wonder if we could find a replay on that. But for now, yeah, DJ and Ryan still... Ryan trying to hang with DJ as he is just starting to put the hammer down and try and take that P1.
This is looking back at the Lincoln Olsen incident.
Lincoln on the inside. This is on the front straight, heading down to P1, getting squeezed, yes.
Oh.
And a little wheel-to-wheel contact, like we mentioned earlier. That's exactly what I was talking about, how these cars do not like to touch. It's very separate from the Spec Racer Ford, where you can bump draft and push each other all you want and get side-by-side and do door banging. These cars do not do that well as they are open-wheel formula cars. So yeah, Lincoln Olsen dropped all the way back to P9. I'm sure we'll see him claw his way back with a couple more positions. But for now, DJ Alessandrini P1, Ryan Goff P2, Ryan Carwile P3.
Ari Ryder P4. You know, Ari Ryder and Ryan Carwile did such a great job working back up to that initial group. I wouldn't put it past them to work up to this front two by the end of this race.
Yeah, if they play their cards right, those two cars are a lot closer to each other than DJ and Ryan. So they might be able to use the draft to their advantage and at least push up to Ryan Goff. And then maybe they can use Goff in that group of three and try and make their way back up to DJ.
DJ is quick, but he's not invincible. That is one thing we've seen in the amount of times that he's been in the DRSCCA. And you know, it only takes one small slip up in these cars to really drop you down the timing table.
They do say, as the old phrase goes, to finish first you must finish. So definitely important to keep the car clean. Like we said, just a little lockup of the brakes, you know, can send your car into a place that you don't want to be. So we see DJ now with the fastest lap, 1:15.362. But let's talk about Ryan Carwile for a second, who is was a moment ago our top climber of the race. Just dropped down to up 8 positions now, and now Pax Rolf down in P11 is our top climber. But yeah, what a start by Ryan Carwile to be able to come up 8 positions, and not just that, Goff and Ryder and P2 and 3 are also up 7 positions from the start.
Yeah,
so
you know,
a lot of movement happening in this field.
This is a car that we've seen Goff and Ryder and Carwile excel in the Detroit region leagues. And so, you know, maybe they just didn't have enough time in it to get that qualifying lap down, but now that we've settled into race pace, they're finding their skills right back.
Absolutely. Yeah, we still see Goff trying to hang with DJ.
Let's see. It looks like we might have had another crash towards the back. Let's go take a look at that.
This is John Schwartz. He had an unfortunate incident earlier, so now Schwartz in front. That looks like Dave Grzinski behind him.
And he just locks up the brakes.
Exactly what we were saying earlier. It's the brakes. The slightest little lock will just send you into the gravel pit, and then that slows you down big time. And unfortunate race for Schwartz, who we saw, you know, in the Spec Racer Fords did very, very well. So,
yeah, DJ Alessandrini just set the session fastest lap with a 15.333.
And Goff only just behind with his best lap of 15.384. So still definitely in the race for Goff. He is close on DJ's tail, trying to reel him back in.
Yeah, Ryan Goff is not going to let this race go easily. He's going to keep that pressure on DJ Alessandrini the whole race. One thing about Goff, I feel like, is he's always really consistent. He just puts down lap after lap.
Let's see if we can actually take a look back at 5th place. See if we can look at the battle for P5. Larry McLeod, Andrew Lunsford, Frank Alessi, all really close to each other there. They're trying to draft back up to that front pack, but definitely a close battle here for 5th.
Yeah, we've got a couple of close battles back here. We've got Mike Schmidt racing against Pax Rolf for P12, with Sean Fritz not much farther ahead of them.
Yeah.
Eric Christensen right behind Thomas Twomey. We've got some good battles going on throughout this race. But
yeah, definitely, like we said, the draft in this car isn't quite as strong, but it definitely still can play a factor down that front straight, which is very long, just nothing to be worried about, wide open, straight. So definitely can play a factor. Heading down to hard braking of turn 1, the hard hairpin. If you can get on the inside of turn 1, you have a large advantage. And,
yeah, as long as
opportunity to pass.
As long as you don't get caught out by the overspeed from the draft going into turn 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we've already seen that, the overspeed and the locking of the brakes can be a huge factor that plays into this. So, but yeah, DJ Alessandrini now has 0.5 of a second to Ryan Goff, who we'll see if he reels it back in a little bit here down the straight. You see DJ weaving a little bit to try and break that draft, but Ryan is having none of it, and he actually will pick up 0.2 now, and he has set the fastest lap of the session with a 1:15.266, and Ryan Goff is now right on the trail of DJ Alessandrini.
Yeah,
Ryan
like I
picked
said,
up about 0.4 on that front straight.
Yeah, like I said, Ryan Goff just keeps putting down these consistent laps. This is not going to let DJ just walk away with this one.
Absolutely. So just about halfway through the race now, your top 10, DJ Alessandrini, Ryan Goff, Ari Ryder, Ryan Carwile, Larry McLeod, Andrew Lunsford, Frank Alessi, Gavin Moore, Lincoln Olson, and Jonathan Crane.
We're going to go on board with Ryan Goff here for a second so we can see what it looks like to follow DJ Alessandrini. Give ourselves just a few moments of respite for our voices. As we see a little bit of pressure getting put on DJ Alessandrini here. He's starting to slide out. But he's keeping that car well under control. It's going to be an interesting race to the end. We've got 12.5 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, just a lap ago we were looking at the gap between DJ and Ryan. The gap was about 0.6 of a second. Ryan's brought it back down to 0.3, and now he's got the front straight to work with as well, which we know he can gain about 0.3 on this front straight if he plays it right, although he doesn't get the greatest exit out of turn 10. So not going to quite happen on this lap, but as long as Ryan keeps putting on the pressure, we've seen DJ get loose a couple of times. Very possible for Ryan to put a move on here in the next lap or two.
Yeah, they've opened up quite a gap to Ari Ryder. 5.5, almost 6 seconds between the lead 2 and the P3.
Now it looks like we've got a battle for P5, though, between Andrew Lunsford and Larry McLeod. Let's see if we can get a look at that. They are right on each other. And yeah, there we go. So Andrew Lunsford currently out front, but Larry McLeod right behind is putting the pressure on. And the pressure behind also coming from Frank Alessi, who's looming, in their mirrors trying to make his presence known. And if they battle too much, he could get his nose in there and possibly try and make a move.
Yeah, with Ari Ryder and Ryan Carwile still there fighting or working together, depending on how you look at it, to get back up to that lead pack. But that's a gap that's going to be tough to manage.
Yeah, almost 6 seconds now is very hard to come back from, and only 11 minutes now left in the race. But yeah, Lunsford, McLeod, and Alessi now all in a tight little pack. McLeod trying to put the pressure on Lunsford to try and make a move. We'll see what happens down the front straight here. And there we go. We see the move by McLeod to take the inside for turn 1. Will Lunsford be able to hold it around the outside? It's going to be very difficult to do, but if he does, he'll have the run up to turn 3 where he'll leave the inside, and he won't. He'll leave it to McLeod, who will take the position for P5.
Is he going to get the switchback, though?
He might. There we go. So, yes, Lunsford will take it back, but he still leaves McLeod on the inside for turn 3, which is a very high-speed corner, hard to keep the outside. And, yeah, there we go. McLeod has the move done on Lunsford. So, P5 now is Larry McLeod. Andrew Lunsford, Frank Alessi still behind. And Alessi is now right on the tail of Andrew Lunsford and may be able to make a move here in a short few moments.
One of the things I really like about this course, Hayden, is turn 1. Turn 1 has so many different lines through it that feel equally as fast. You can start wide, have a super late apex. It's kind of a increasing radius turn, so it opens up as you go through. There's people that'll double apex it, kind of give it a V shape, or early apex and then fall to the outside. There's just so many ways to navigate turn 1, and I think that's what really helps make this course special.
Absolutely. We see those cars battling for P5 coming up now. Andrew Lunsford made a slight mistake out of the exit of turn 10, went into the gravel a touch, so that'll give Frank Alessi P6 for now. But like we said, Andrew Lunsford's still on the tail, chasing, and here we go. Ryan Goff now making moves on DJ Alessandrini, and he will get it done. So now your leader, Ryan Goff, like we said, who was applying the pressure earlier, will get a move done on DJ Alessandrini, move up to P1 for the moment. DJ making a huge lunge up the inside. Not going to be able to stick it, though. And Ryan Goff will now put 4/10 to DJ, and he will try to just keep that lead as long as he can.
Yeah, again, DJ is an incredibly fast driver, and you could see it almost looked like a little bit of frustration or desperation there going into that corner with that late lunge.
Yeah, late lunge and a small bit of lockup could have ended in just tragedy for the two drivers who are currently leading the race. But yeah, DJ now coming up onto lap 18. DJ now behind Ryan. Ryan taking the early move to the inside for turn 1 because he knows that move is critical. So DJ will now come alongside Ryan Goff. Ryan Goff is going to try and push him back out, try and get as much run into turn 1 as he can. And Ryan will hold the inside for now. DJ's going to take it extra wide, try and maybe get a switchback here on Ryan Goff, which he will do. He will get just alongside maybe Ryan Goff heading up to turn 3. And yeah, for the moment, Ryan Goff still has first place in this race.
Yeah, that was a great defensive line through turn 1 there. Determining that you're going to take the inside line and then squeezing him back out to the outside. Well, with a little bit of a slip there, but still keeping it under control. And then just forcing Alessandrini to stay on the inside line. You're not going to get as good of a drive out of that corner.
Yeah, just trying to make the car behind do as much as they possibly can to get around you and make it as hard as possible for them while still, doing everything in your power to keep clean and run your race and not do anything out of control that's going to cost you a position. So Ryan Goff now is your leader for 2 laps back-to-back on DJ Alessandrini. Still just 0.2 of a second between them. Coming out onto the front straight, that'll shorten up even more. We'll expect Goff to make an early move to the inside line and hold that.
Yeah, you got to read that slipstream.
There we go.
Just right here, because you want to make your move early enough that you're being predictable, but not too late that they can still just drive around the outside of you.
So Ryan Goff, DJ Alessandrini side by side through turn 1. Still have a little bit of overlap, and there it goes. It's close. Ryan Goff still holds on the lead coming into turn 3. The fast left-hander, and Ryan Goff now putting a little bit of a gap back on so he can breathe just a touch going down in the short, slow-speed technical part of this course, turns 4 through 8.
Yeah, let's see if DJ tries to put another little lunge in here. I don't think he's as close this time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but DJ's still trying to make up time on Ryan Goff and get that front straight, get around the outside on turn 1. Ryan Goff is having absolutely none of it, closing the inside line and playing as defensive as possible here.
I'm getting a little bit of inside baseball as to why Jonathan Schwartz didn't grid. He said in the chat that his game kept crashing when he was loading in,
gosh.
so he wasn't able to grid. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he did very well in the last race. It's unfortunate to see that he's not up there battling possibly for that top 1 spot with Ryan Goff and DJ Alessandrini. So
yeah, I wouldn't put him out for that final battle.
Absolutely not. But now Goff taking that early inside line, not necessary at all, as he has enough gap on DJ to go back to the outside and take his normal line through turn 1. He'll hold off DJ for now. So Goff is your leader for the last 3 laps now.
Here we can see how close these two drivers actually are as we go on board the gearbox of Ryan Goff's car.
And it looks like we had an incident now again with Lincoln Olsen, who has towed to the pits. I'm unsure what happened there, but yeah, he was down to P10, got P9 back. Oh, DJ gets a little squirrely there, but yeah, Lincoln was down to P9. We thought we were going to see him battle his way back up a little bit, but unfortunately it looks like he is now towed to the pits and he is out of the race.
Yeah, I'll see if I can go find the incident for that.
Thank you, Alex. As we watch here, DJ Alessandrini still right on the tail of Ryan Goff. This is our battle for the lead. Just 1/10 separates 2 cars, and DJ is putting a lot of pressure on Ryan to make absolutely 0 mistakes heading onto the front stretch. Now we'll have a little bit of draft in play. Ryan is going to take the early move to the inside. DJ is going to follow him, try and get as much of that draft as possible. And we expect a move here from DJ to the outside, which he does, and Ryan's going to hold that inside line just like we've seen the last few laps. But DJ actually now getting a great run, late braking, and holding it around the outside, still side by side through turn 1.
You know, I was going to...
now DJ is able to stick it around the outside, and he'll have the inside line going into turn 3.
You know, I was going to go find that replay, but this battle is just way too intense.
Absolutely. So DJ takes the lead back after 3 laps from Ryan Goff as your leader, and Ryan's still right on the trail of DJ as he's going to keep battling for the lead. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like we've neglected a lot of the rest of the pack, but this battle at the front has just been so exciting.
Been so tight the entire race. So both drivers, whenever they get to the lead, they go straight to defense and try and hold off the driver behind, because that's all you can think about. With a little bit of draft that these cars have down the front straight, it's so important that you're watching the car behind and making sure you leave them no room for a pass.
We're going to go back to the battle for P3 real quick, because there's 3 cars within a half a second of each other.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about Ari Ryder and Ryan Carwile, who have made their way back up, and they are back in battling for 3rd. So Ari Ryder, Ryan Carwile, Larry McLeod in that battle for P3, all separated by just about 0.4 of a second. There we go.
Oh, and we had another change of lead up here at the front.
Yeah, Ryan Goff, DJ Alessandrini side by side through turn 2, coming up to turn 3. Just what we saw last lap, except flip. Now Ryan Goff has the inside line. And still side by side. So brave by DJ to hold it around the outside. Touches a little bit of gravel, but is able to hang on to the lead. So DJ still in the lead now. Ryan Goff making very good attempts for that pass. Almost had it there around the inside of turn 3, but DJ able to hang on and stick it around the outside.
Yeah, this has been such an intense battle. 30 minutes of this. We've been treated to almost 30 minutes of this. We've got 2.5 minutes left. Just fantastic. You can't find racing this good most weekends.
Yeah, this is awesome to watch. We are seeing a few changes in position between 4th and 5th back for that battle for 3rd, but Ari Ryder right now able to hang on to it. Ryan Goff gets into the gravel off of turn 10. Gets a little bit loose. But yeah, Ari Ryder for now hanging on to P3. But like we said, those 2 cars behind, Larry McLeod, Ryan Carwile, also right in that slipstream, right in that draft, trying to make their way up to Ari for P3. And Pax Wolf, Pax Rolf has been served a meatball, so he will have to pit for repairs. He is currently down in P14.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to see the white flag here on this next lap. So this battle between the two leaders has just been an incredible tooth and nail fighting, hard, just great defense, great offense, just fantastic.
Absolutely.
You know, I do think these Formula Ford 1600s get a little bit of they're a little underrated in this service. They create such good racing. You know, without the downforce, they require a decent amount of skill. They're a little fragile, so you have to be careful. You can't just run them over every curb or into every person. But to be a fantastic Formula Ford driver, like it's does take some skill, and they produce some fun racing.
It absolutely takes a little bit of racecraft. As we see DJ diving towards the inside, trying to guard that line for turn one. But yeah, they absolutely take a lot of racecraft. I think people often overlook them just because they're a rookie's car. Same thing with the Miatas. People look at them and go, "Oh, it's a rookie's car. I want to race something faster like the Formula 4 or some other open wheel Formula car." But yeah, they really do make a great race. They require a lot of racecraft. Opposite of what the name suggests, with them being a rookie car. Yeah, they're just so fragile, but so agile at the same time. So
they
DJ's
also
still holding on now. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and they also really, really test your throttle and brake control. As we can see, DJ getting a little squirrely in there, but as long as you're driving these cars with your feet, you can keep them in line. We are on our final lap here coming down. We've got 2 corners left for Goff and Alessandrini here.
Yeah, DJ Alessandrini, your current leader, holding off Ryan Goff. They've had a great battle so far, but now DJ putting about a 3.5 gap to Ryan Goff. Will he be able to make that gap up through the final corner and down the front stretch? Checkered flag waving. DJ Alessandrini able to hang on. He is going to win this race. Ryan Goff in second. Take a look back now. The battle for P3. We have Larry McLeod, Ari Ryder, Ryan Carlisle. And Larry McLeod able to hang on just hardly over Ari Ryder, who is P4. Ryan Carlisle, P5. Andrew Lunsford, P6. Gavin Moore now coming to the line in P7. And Jonathan Crane just behind him. So, with the checker flag waving, we have the final cars crossing the line now. But DJ Alessandrini is your winner over Ryan Goff. These two had a fantastic battle. Larry McLeod is in P3. Ari Ryder, P4. Ryan Carlisle in P5. Andrew Lunsford in P6. Gavin Moore takes 7th place. Jonathan Crane in 8th. Sean Fritz in 9th. Thomas Twomey rounds out the top 10. David Albrecht in P11 and Michael Schmidt in P12. So, Alex, I'll let you take over the final drivers there.
We got Trenton McMillan in P13, Pax Rolf in P14, Eric Christensen, P15, Frank Alessi, Lincoln Olson, David Grunzinski, John Schwartz, Ahmed Baden, and Antonio Diaz and Colin Denner rounding out the rest of the field. What a fantastic race.
That was awesome to watch. Great battle there by Ryan Goff and DJ Alessandrini. A little bit of unfortunate turn of events for John Schwartz and Lincoln Olson, who we expected to be up in that battle for P1. But yeah, fantastic race, fantastic series from the DRSCCA and the WDCR. I have a feeling, Alex, that this might happen again.
You know, I think this was a great race. I think it was a good decision by the two regions to go together and fight this one out. And I hope we see more of it. It was fantastic.
Absolutely great racing, clean racing, actually. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch those battles up at the top for the leaders. And I sure hope everyone behind had a lot of fun doing it. So I know I did. Thank you, Alex. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun today. But the checkered flag falls here on the afternoon at Summit Point. On behalf of our entire production staff, my name is Hayden Sawka. Thank you for joining us for today's coverage of the SCCA Showdown. Congratulations to our winners, Road America and Summit Point. Be sure to join us for the SimCar at Montreal and our upcoming events as well, if we can get those up. Here we go. So yeah, we have SimCar Grand Am Series on the 29th of February, and SimCar again on the 5th. A whole bunch of SimCar coming up in the following weeks here. Montreal, Silverstone, Monza, sure to be great races. So be sure to catch us on the Automotive Sports Network for those. Thank you everyone very much for watching. Like we said, we are extremely close here to 1,000 subscribers. We were really trying to reach that goal, so if you wouldn't mind giving us a subscribe on YouTube, we would really appreciate it. But until then, from the SCCA Showdown, I'm Hayden Sawka alongside Alex Laursen. Thank you everyone for watching. We have had a wonderful day. We appreciate you very much. See ya.